guys, welcome back to my channel, welcome back to my kitchen and my new setup. We recently just bought this island and I'm so excited to use it for the first time today. So what we're gonna do today is a recipe that I've been using for so long now. I kind of made it my own after a little while. It's very easy, something that you can make when you are invited over to a friend's house last minute, need to bring an appetizer, have people coming over, or just simply for a taco night that you wanna have your little side dish with. What it is an avocado, corn, and tomato dip. So good, full of flavor, and really super easy to make. So we're gonna go through the ingredients really fast. What that includes is you're gonna need an avocado, some limes, some grape tomatoes. I usually pick the super sweet kind, some salt, pepper, onion powder, garlic powder, and cumin. And you're also gonna need frozen corn and some butter to saute it. And last thing you will need is red wine vinegar. It gives it a perfect little tart texture and taste to it. It's really good. So we're gonna start out. What you want is to saute your frozen corn in about a tablespoon of butter and let it kind of get nice and brown. So that's what we're gonna do next, and then I'll meet you guys back here and we'll do the rest of the dip. All right, so we just sauteed the corn, and I want you to be able to use as much as you guys want, depending on the amount that you guys are gonna feed that time. So today it's just 2 of us here, so I only did about half a cup of corn, not too much, scaled back on the butter a little bit to make up for the amount of corn that I was using. So while that cools, you kind of want it to cool down a little bit because I don't want it to be like a hot dip. It's kind of like a warm room temperature dip. So what we're gonna do is now you're gonna take your avocado, cut it in half and cube it. Be careful not to cut yourself. I have actually done that before when cutting avocado. Try and take the seed out. All right, so you're going to cube this. I tend to do a little bit of a smaller cut of the cubes just to make it easier for picking up on chips and stuff like that. And so I kind of just squeeze it on in. It works just fine. Everything goes into the bowl. Less utensils you're dirtying. So that's in there. You want to do both halves. Remember, be careful when you're taking the seed out. I see people all the time, put the seed, cut it kind of down like this, and I can't do that. I've cut through my hand before doing that, so I don't do that anymore. So just be aware when you're cutting of where your hands are and fingers, of course. Nobody wants to get hurt. And if you guys stick around for the end of this video, I have a little drink I'm gonna share with you guys that I just recently learned how to do. It's just a simple margarita. Few ingredients, 3 ingredients actually, and goes very good with this drink. This dip, not drink. But they go well together, so. Okay, avocados cubed. Now you're going to cut your grape tomatoes and you're going to cut them in lengthwise so that they're also good for the amount of, can fit on your chip that you're gonna use in the dip. It's a mouthful. So I use about a half of the pint of tomatoes. Again, depending on the amounts that you're feeding, the amount of people you're feeding is gonna determine the amount of ingredients you guys use. I don't have specific measurements for like the spices and things. It's kind of just all to your taste. So keep that in mind. It's kind of, you get to do your own thing with it. So we're just gonna cut these all. All right, so now that you have all of your tomatoes and your avocado cut up, you're gonna pour the corn into the pan, or the bowl. Make sure it all gets in there. It gives it such a sweetness to it because it kind of, you wanna use sweet corn, and sauteing it gives it a little crunch, gives it a nice flavor. So you're gonna take a lime. I use about a half a lime to a whole lime, just depends on the amount of people, again, the amount of dip you're using or making. squeeze that in. I tend to like mine more on the acidic side, so I use a little bit more lime juice and the red wine vinegar, which is a tip I learned from one of my friends who makes like the best guacamole. So I kind of gathered little tips and tricks from people that I hang out with and cook with, and that's how I've gained a lot of my knowledge on food. So you're gonna add your red wine vinegar, again, all to taste. So make sure you're checking along the line when you're making these. All right, so we're gonna add some salt. Just crack that on in. I don't add too much salt because the chips that you use kind of gives it a more salty taste, and I think the chips make up for it, so I don't really want to add a whole lot to it. So you add pepper, onion powder, and this is a dip that you guys can add whatever you want. So if you want to add cilantro to it, add cilantro, you know, diced onion, red onion's probably the best for this, is what I recommend. And now the secret ingredient is your cumin. Cumin makes this an interesting flavor. It goes really well with like tacos and things because cumin is in taco seasoning. So you add a little bit, not too much because you don't want it to overpower the dip, but just enough where you get a good flavor. Mix that all together. It smells just like I'm in a Mexican restaurant, which is where I would like to be all the time, especially now during these days, but everything's still closed in California, so we're trying to make do with what we can at home and make what we can here. All right, so I'm gonna let that sit for a little bit. The more it sits, the better the flavors are. So I'm gonna push this off to the side, I'm gonna clean it up a little bit, and I'll be back to make that margarita with you guys. All right, so what we're gonna do now is we're gonna make that super easy margarita. I kind of found this recipe online, and I'm gonna double it to make two. So what you will want is some tequila. I'm gonna be using Jose Cuervo Especial, triple sec, but instead of the alcoholic kind, I am using an alcohol-free liqueur. Still tastes the same, just without the extra alcohol. And then you'll need some limes. So it's gonna take no time. All you're gonna do is you want 3 shots of tequila, 1.5 if you're making 1 for yourself. But again, I'm making 2. So we have 1 shot. I'm gonna put it in a mason jar and just put a lid on the mason jar and shake it up that way. But if you have a shaker, feel free to use that. So all that is going in. You're gonna wanna do 2 shots of triple sec. 1 if you're just doing it for yourself. So this is, again, a syrup. So 1 and 2. And then I'm just going to squeeze the limes right into the mason jar. We have 1.5 limes. 1.5 limes. Squeeze that all in. It's a perfect pairing for your dip that you just made. Kind of brings that citrus back in. You can pretend you're on vacation, like I'm about to do. And you know, as Tom Haverford says in Parks and Rec, treat yourself. I live by that. There's 2, 1 more. All right, so we're gonna put a lid on our mason jar. We're gonna shake it all together. And then what you wanna do is you wanna strain it into some extra glasses. So I have those on the side. So I'm just gonna strain it on in. We're making a mess, but that's okay. So, you can always put a fancy rim on the top of your drink, but I decided to forego that. You can do sugar, salt, but okay. So now what we're gonna do is I'm going to try this dip for you guys and try the margarita. So let's give that a drink. So good, so good. Very refreshing, perfect for summertime, and so is this dip. So we're gonna give this a little taste. Make sure you get everything in there. Again, creamy, full of flavor. You get that lime, the red wine vinegar makes it nice and tart. I'm telling you, your friends are gonna love this. So, if you guys end up making this, be sure to tag me on Instagram at glutenfreegirl. Be sure to like this video and subscribe down below. And comment, let me know what you guys wanna see next and if you guys tried this out. And I'll see you guys very soon. Bye!